This question we never had to deal with when we were kids because the world has changed. Is screen time dangerous for kids? You know, there's actually a lot of studies coming out that are showing that, yeah, there are some negative effects of too much screen time. But you know what? I think it's important to recognize it's not the screens that are the problem.
No.
You're watching us on a screen right now. We're not going to badmouth screens all day, but they're kind of like fire. I like this analogy. You know, Vicki, how there was a time when our kids were little when there was a little fire that came. Do you remember this? And fire is dangerous, right? It can burn down your house. It can consume a forest or even an entire community. We've seen this in the news from time to time. So is fire a bad thing? No, fire is a powerful thing. Can we make that distinction? Fire is powerful, and because of that, we want to put it in the right context or put the right limits around it. You keep a fire in the fireplace
And
or
it's
in the
just
furnace.
fine. Yeah.
It's awesome, and it cooks our food and it drives our cars, but it's dangerous if it's let out of that context because of the power. And I think screens are similar.
Yeah, I like that you say fire has power. It's powerful. And that's the same thing I think for screens. They're very, very powerful. And there are some wonderful uses of them. But let's get very clear and very real about them and make sure that we're talking about the limits or the environment in which we invite those screens into our world.
I think one of the risks that we run into, this is a very common thing, so don't feel badly if this applies to you, but it's easy to put our kid on a screen as a little babysitter for a few minutes while we handle something.
Right.
The problem that comes up though is that if we don't put appropriate limits around it, then that few minutes while we're getting a shower. And how many moms out there would just love to have just a few minutes
Right, exactly.
in the shower or wherever it is to take care of you? Yeah, you need that. And I think screens are actually a legitimate way to occupy a child for a limited amount of time. But heavy emphasis on the limited.
Right, especially at any point when using those screens is to avoid actual interaction with your child for any reason or with other people. That's a time to really question yourself and see what your motivation is and what the consequences might be.
Vicki, you shared a study with me recently about language development.
Yeah.
Can you share?
There's a certain number of words that a child needs to be exposed to before they actually even are ready for reading and things, and it has a very direct impact on their vocabulary acquisition. And the studies show that it has to be words that they have interaction with actual people.
Interaction with people.
So if you have your child watching some educational video, that's fine and well, but realize that those words are not actually contributing to their language development and their vocabulary acquisition.
Not the way a direct interaction would. And this surprised some of the researchers because I think they were expecting that maybe it's going to be similar, you know, if they're watching it on a program, but it's not. There are some qualitative differences, so we need to understand that.
Just remember that face-to-face time is really what we're going for when it comes to developing empathy, relationships, language, problem solving.
Now, we're talking about, is screen time dangerous for kids? It's not the screens necessarily. It's the stuff that they have access to through that screen.
Yeah.
Or, in some cases, the access that others might have to them through that screen. Gaming, for example. I think parents really need to be aware of this because in the gaming world, much of what's happening on that little game screen is also connected to a large network of other gamers. And this is, unfortunately, where some predators place themselves so that they'll have access to your kids. I want you to know that because then you can set appropriate limits. If a predator of some kind, a violent criminal, came to your door and knocked on your door, and you know who they are you going to invite them in to dinner with the kids?
Absolutely not.
No. You're a much better parent than that. Who are we inviting or what are we inviting into our homes through our screens? So I think there's some appropriate cautions that we can take. We had a rule, Vicki, in our home that We don't have screens available in our children's bedrooms.
Right. They had to be out in the family area.
So the computer or the tablet or the gaming system. Now, your kids might be big fans of, I want that in my bedroom. Really? What are we going to allow into our child's bedroom? And anything that's available on the internet could be sneaking in there with them. Put it in a public place. If they are uncomfortable with you seeing what they're viewing on the screen, then probably that should raise some little flags in your head. Do you think?
Yeah. You know, it kind of comes down to you're the parent.
Yes.
And so you get to set the limits. Not to mention, I don't know very many kids who can afford any of the screens we're talking about on their own.
Right.
You've provided these screens. You can set the limits. Be the parent, set appropriate limits.
They're not entitled to what all of their friends have or what they think they should be able to access. I love the way you said that, Vicki. Be the parent. You don't have to show up as their friend. This doesn't have to be popular with them. You use your judgment and discretion as a parent to do the right thing, even if it's not popular. If you're still wondering where to go with this or some of the other challenging topics that we have to deal with as parents, you would probably love the coaching groups and the digital programs that are available to you. We've got a lot of resources. Vicki, tell them where they can find those.
Go to drpauljenkins.com/breakthrough call.
That'll get you on with one of our certified coaches, and they'll tell you all about what's available.
To the phone. And I wished I had a number so